Brace yourself. Get it passed up anytime now. Collect yourself. Does it ever be the same in that sad world? Walk around the light a bit, trying to make the pieces fit to a puzzle with a million missing pieces. When I'm feeling fine is when I discover that I'm afraid to blow my cover, and there's something very wrong with this. So sit back in your hole.
So good morning, everybody. Good to be with you today. Those of you who've taken several of my classes in the past, including these turds right here who've taken my classes 4 years in a row, know that it wouldn't be a real Mr. Childers class if we didn't at least once talk about the two fellows on the screen here. Rat Maggot, who are the two fellows on the screen here?
Plato and Aristotle?
Plato and Aristotle, great Greek philosophers from the 4th century BC, 2,300-year-old men. Between the two of them, these two revolutionized almost every aspect of human knowledge, human thought, and they stand at the foundation of what we're doing right now. Plato's school, the academy, was the first institution of higher learning in Western civilization. Everything after that that's ever been called something academy is named in honor of Plato's school. And then the younger of the two, Aristotle, was Plato's student, who went on to become, he's got the nickname, the Arabs gave him this name later, the master of those who know. There is almost nothing that these two men did not explore and hand their knowledge down to us about. What we're going to do for the next few minutes is maybe 10-minute conversation. Watch it be like an hour and a half because I'm me. But over the next few minutes, this is partially commercial, an advertisement for the other Southeastern University course that I offer, which is Introduction to Ethics, especially if you're a sophomore or junior who still has classes to pick for next year, or if you're a senior and you've got something 4th or 5th period you feel like transferring out of. Let me make my sales pitch here for what my ethics course is all about. If you like what we're doing over the next few minutes and want to join this conversation, come join me there when you get a chance. But it's also an introduction to the next topic we're exploring in this course as we begin the second module of the course today. So, of all the things that Plato and Aristotle explored, which was everything, one of the most important areas of their work was the area of ethics. Ethics is the exploration of how and why we make our behavior choices and how those choices impact the people around us and the wider world. It explores the questions of what's right and what's wrong, of what's good and what's evil. And the couple of you, Sua, you're in ethics currently, right? So Samurai's in ethics currently. So the couple of you that are currently in ethics, not only are you getting a commercial for a course you're already in, you're kind of getting a literal rerun from yesterday. So too bad, so sad for you. When Plato looked at ethics, when Plato looked at how we behave, he looked at it the same way he looked at everything, which is Plato tried to imagine what is the perfect, the ideal version of anything, of the person, of the state, of behavior choices. Plato's all about the things that are perfect, unchanging, uncorruptible. And everything else, everything that fails to live up to that standard is less real for Plato. So Plato tries to imagine a perfect world, and then what are the rules that you can follow in a perfect world that will make that world the best it can possibly be? Lots of people who explore questions of ethics, please do take a moment, put your phones and iPads away for me, please. People who explore questions of ethics, of good and evil, since Plato, so many of them have tried to do just that. Find out the rules. The laws, good and evil, right is wrong, is about do this, don't do that. Now, we're in a school right now. We're in a high school right now. As far as I'm concerned, we're not in high school right now because it's a college class, but we're in a high school and everyone but me is a student. So we're no stranger to rules. And we're no stranger to at least feeling like that sometimes the people who make the rules sit around making up new rules just because they're bored. Right? So we've got rules of what we can wear. There's a dress code. Then, okay, now there's a rule, there's an exception. You can wear something different on Wednesdays. But not this Wednesday, psych, because we've decided the new rule is they don't start till September. And as much as none of it matters, it serves as a constant buzzing nuisance. If you've ever been annoyed by laws and rules, you have a friend in Aristotle. Right, Samurai? A friend in Aristotle. Because Aristotle was also not about rules. For him, ethics, morality is not about rules. Instead, Aristotle says if you want to figure out what's good and what's evil, what's right and what's wrong, the question needs to be about you yourself, about your character, who you are. So the question to ask is not what's the rule about this that somebody came up with. The question is, what kind of man or what kind of woman do I want to be? And what behavior choice will get me closer to being that, to being the best me possible? And that is good. What behavior choice will push me further away from what I want to be? And that, for Aristotle, is evil. It's a very human and humane approach to ethics, that it makes everything center around not some arbitrary list of rules on the wall, but around us, ourselves, around the human person and what the human person feels called to be. How do we figure out what that is? How do we find the good path? Well, for Aristotle, good is to be found by striking a careful balance between extremes. So let me illustrate the exact same way I illustrated for you yesterday. So this is a rerun. So let's say, Samurai, hold my mic for me. So let's say, stand up, lean forward. So let's say I wake up in the morning and I'm so anxious and I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. I can't today. I can't go face those places. I can't face those people. I just can't do it. I'm going to pull my blanket over my head and I'm not getting out of bed today. I'm never getting out of bed again. I'm just going to stay here and let's let the world go away. Now, am I living my best life when I do that? Is that the best version of me? Aristotle say no. Aristotle say, get your ass out of bed. You're a coward. Aristotle's not sensitive. All right. Maybe you don't want to go to Aristotle for therapy, but you know what? Maybe you do. Aristotle says, wake up, get up. You are a coward. Cowardice is a vice. That's his word for bad choices, for bad habits. If you're familiar with the word vicious, vice is the root of vicious. Get out of bed, coward, Aristotle would say. So I guess that means, Ellen, you think that means he wants me to do the opposite, right? Yeah. All right, well, let's see what the opposite is. So I'm out walking down the street, all right, and Ariana yells out at me. She says, look out, Mr. Childers, there's a semi-truck coming. And I say, I ain't afraid of no semi-trucks. I ain't afraid of nothing. And then splat, I'm hit by the semi-truck. And I mean, I explode. There's pieces of me, blood and guts raining down from the sky. Jenna's in the back puking because it's so gross. And am I living my best life that way? No, I'm not living any kind of life at all.
When you meant that, you meant like Crossy Road style?
Huh?
When you said that, did you mean like Crossy Road style? Like you ran into the semi-truck?
I don't.
Crossy Road is?
Oh, I'm a.
Little chicken crossing the road?
I know I don't act like it much, but I'm a grown damn man. I have no idea what you're talking about, son. So Aristotle would say, my problem in that scenario is I've been rash. I've not shown any judgment. And that's also a vice. The opposite of a vice, the opposite of an extreme, is also a vice. What's the middle path? What's the virtuous path? Virtue is his word for positive habits, positive behavior choices. The virtuous path in the middle is to have courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is striking a balance, being afraid when there is something to be afraid of, and knowing how to do the right thing even when I'm afraid. How do we build up those virtues? Because those virtues are the things, those are the Legos. I've used the Lego analogy in here about putting ourselves together. Those positive habits that we build up are the way we take ownership over crafting ourselves into the people that we want to be. And they work almost like addiction in reverse, right? So if, or I light up a cigarette for the first time, or I take a puff on the vape for the first time, I can put it down, no harm, no foul. Maybe a second time, maybe a third time. But eventually, what happens? I get addicted to it. And when that happens, it has now altered who I am. When I've become addicted, I'm no longer smoking, I'm a smoker. I'm no longer vaping, I'm a vapor. Now, for Aristotle, good behavior choices, good habits work the same way. And it's essential because how many of you have ever been to a high school graduation? Not graduated, but been to a high school graduation. Lots of you. You remember that part in every high school graduation when they call your name and you walk across the stage, and right as they hand you the diploma, or right as they hand them the diploma, a light shines down from heaven and every graduate is supernaturally imbued with all the skills and strength and talent and knowledge they need to succeed? No, you don't, because that part doesn't happen. The you who reaches out, so Elian, stand up. And so you're the principal, so you're my brother. All right? The you that reaches out to shake the principal's hand is the you who takes your hand back. Your graduation day, 18th birthday, 21st birthday, the day you sign the dotted line for your, sit down, the day you sign on the dotted line for your first job, the day you have your first baby, the day you whatever that's such a big deal that you're waiting for, nothing happens. To you, you're still the same person. I'm still the same person. The only way to change the person I am into a better person is to build up good habits, virtuous habits, to get addicted to goodness, in a sense. So, as an example, let's say there's a scenario where I'm really tempted to lie. My life would be much easier if somebody thinks something that is not true is true. All right? And I decide to tell the truth anyway. It sucks. It's like almost physically painful. Just like, hang on. So,
Oh. His greatest mistake.
Why is he writing it? He's gonna skedaddle out of here.
So it is. So I recently bought this bike and rode a bike for the first time in 25 years. All right. And one of the things I experienced, other than the fact that the front end alignment's all off, so I can't ride it, but somehow my path home and to work is straight uphill both ways somehow. And the burning pain I felt in my legs from being, like, these are muscles that are not only out of shape, but have never been in shape. Like, I have the same, was it calves? I don't know. I have the same leg muscles, wiggly baby leg muscles I was born with. They're just longer. And so the process of exercising them and building them up, it sucked. But if I keep at it, what's going to happen?
You're gonna get good at it. It won't hurt.
He's going to get good at it and won't hurt. Same with virtue. The first time I'm tempted to lie and I tell the truth, it burns in that same way. But I do it again, and just like the bad addiction, the virtue changes me. And eventually, I'm not someone telling the truth, I'm an honest person. It transforms not only what I do, but what I am. That's Aristotle's vision of good and evil. That's Aristotle's vision of virtue. In this next module of the course, what we're going to be looking at are the virtues required to be a good leader. And when you hear leader, not everybody is the kind of leader that, oh, Miss Rosa. Welcome, Miss Rosa. That's okay. You see, I'm busy. So not everybody is the final decision maker in their classroom and their job site, right? And rarely when you start out in a new position are you going to be that kind of leader. But that doesn't mean that leadership isn't for everybody. Because the kind of person that employers are looking for, the kind of person that friends are looking for, that schools are looking for, that neighbors, that romantic partners are looking for, that every relationship in your life will be improved to the degree that you have the character traits of a leader, because all of us are sort of the kings and queens of our own universe, right? All of us are the masters of our own inner world, right? Aristotle had the nickname the master of those who know, but he made a big mistake. See, philosophers aren't prophets. You can be a follower of a philosopher and say he was wrong about 1,000 things. You don't have to blindly follow them. One of the things he was wrong about is he thought this path of virtue is not for everybody. That some people were designed to be virtuous, strong leaders, and other people were designed only to shut up and do what they're told and work. Hear this carefully. Aristotle was not in the United States South in the 1800s. He was in Greece 2,300 years ago. So he wasn't in favor of a race-based slavery, but he was in favor of slavery. He thought some people were designed just to be slaves by nature. We, thankfully, know that he's wrong about that. And the good news then is that all of us are called to be our own masters. All of us are called to use this empowering path of virtue to make ourselves capable of being strong leaders in this world. That's what we're going to look at in the coming module. So we're going to do one more thing today. If you're watching on YouTube, please continue watching through the video that follows this in the playlist. This is a video that's part of the course curriculum that comes from Southeastern University. It only takes about 12 or 13 minutes that will introduce us to the things we're going to be looking at for the rest of the module.
Walk around a lot a bit, trying to make the pieces fit to a puzzle with a million bits and pieces. When I'm feeling fine is when I discover that I'm afraid to blow my cover, and there's something very wrong with this. So slip back in your hole, or get back in your cave. If I'm going down, I'm taking someone with me.